Ripcord Ratchet limb-driven rest. Could this possibly be better than an Epsilon? Maybe. Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. MFJJ here at podiumarcher.com, looking at the Ratchet limb-driven Ripcord. Now, I have to confess, in all honesty, I overlooked this. I really did, because I was kind of fed up with Ripcord. They hadn't really done anything in a while, and I thought at one point the company went away, to be honest. But they're still around, and they're releasing new product. And I would like to first start off that none of these are made in China. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there that's made in China. I can't say this is made in America, unfortunately, because it's made in Canada, but that's kind of like our kissing cousin, right? So that almost counts as a good American-made product. In any event, these are all assembled just barely over the border in Canada through the Excalibur factory, which is all affiliated with those companies. But this might be the easiest limb-driven rest I've ever seen to install. So without further ado, let's open it. So, looks like we got some elaborate packaging here. I don't have a lot of patience for these things, so I'm just going to cut them open. Fancy. Sexy. Okay. Now, you'll have to bear with me, because it's been a couple weeks since I saw the rep messing with this at Vegas, but it has a very unique feature. The one thing that I was really interested on is if it was actually going to clear on a Mathews bow, because if you can't clear those quivers, you're going to lose a big percentage of sales on that. And this looks like it might. So to start with, and go ahead. It looks like it clamps on very similar to how an IMX goes on. It does go on the rail. It does actually integrate, so you don't need a clamp and stuff like with the QAD, which is, or the Epsilon, which is kind of the one gripe I really would say I have with theirs. It's the way it attaches. Unfortunately, you're not directly on this rail. Okay, so quick and easy to put on there. You have so one of the things I really like about this rest is how easy the windage adjusts. So if you've ever tried to adjust an Epsilon, it's kind of hard to get at some of the adjustment screws. This left and right is all micro driven internally, much like the IMX. So it's super simple to use. There are not different launcher options, but this, if I was to design a launcher for hunting, this is how I would make it look personally. It's curved up a little bit on the ends, it's in-grooved in the middle, and it's all one piece. Now, yes, it's plastic, but in general, you don't typically wear your launcher out on a fall-away rest. It's not something you ever tend to have to replace. Now, the one question I have, depending on what bow you're putting it on and how it's going to function, is the movement left to right in here. The launcher moves, but the cage doesn't. The cage doesn't move with it. So if you had to move your rest a long ways to the left or a long ways to the right, it's probably not going to look as square and uniform, which might personally bother you. It wouldn't bother me a little bit, but it is what it is. I don't think it's a terribly bad thing. So there's your micro adjust up and down, and you can see how easy this is to move. Like so far, like those parts of it, it's better than an Epsilon. There's no question. So, but let's lock it down and see how it actually gets rigid. One thing I will say is there are some smaller screws on here that always has me a little hesitant. Wrong size. Might have had the right one to begin with. Can't quite see it here. There you go. Goodness me. One more. Okay, and this is right here, it looks like. We'll come back up here so we can see it. I think that's, you'll have to bear with me, folks. I've never actually adjusted it. I just saw how the cord system attaches and how easy it is, and I thought that was pretty cool. All right, after our technical difficulty of finding this on the floor underneath the leg of the vise here, we have the goodie bag. Let's see what they provide us with. So they give you some fleecies here, it looks like. I'm assuming that's for the arms here. They give you one of the better shelves if you want to actually put a shelf on your riser. This one actually works really good. It's really quiet. I actually sell these separately in the shop for other people who want a shelf because they work very, very well. They give you a stick-on pad, which has some double-sided 3M tape on it. That's another fleece arm. So we're just trying to stick this on so I can show you how simple it is. I was very impressed when I saw this. I had to stop other dealers and have them look at it. I was like, this is really simple. And oh my God. So the number one complaint I think I've gotten over the years with limb-driven style rests, whether it be a Hamsky or any variant or different, is the cord stretches over time and you have to retighten it. And most of the systems for retightening the cord are, for lack of a better phrase, a pain in the ass. They're really hard to retighten the cord. It's not like it's a complicated task. It's the device that they use to tighten the cord down is kind of awkward and difficult to get a hold of. Like, we'll frequently hang on to one piece with a pair of pliers, your fingers, and an Allen wrench and try to have somebody pull on it to get it tight. It's kind of a bear. Whereas this, which we're just going to stick this on your lower limb here, run the cord through here. So for now, we'll just do it like this. I'm not going to do a normal attachment because I'm going to take this back off of here, but for today's purposes, just go through here, lift that up, put it on there. Okay, so now, so you got to bear with me. I got to look at where the holes are here and line this up. Okay, so I was doing it backwards. So you stick your cord through, tighten it up on your cord, push your launcher down, and then twist that up and let go. Your tension's set. It's that simple. And then there's a lock screw that locks it back down on one of these sides here. Where is it? I think it's that one. So on that, you tighten that back up. And your ratchet's set and it doesn't free ratchet anymore. So if you ever need to tighten your cord again, you loosen this screw. If I can get in here. There it goes. Okay. I would sure like it. There it goes. Okay, so now the ratchet doesn't work anymore. So the ratchet's just free spooled before. So back it down. So let's say we need to tighten it again. Back it off, turn, loosen this cord up, pull your cord tight again. Whoop. Pull it snug. Hold that down. Click, click. It's tight. Tighten that bad boy down. You're done. Super simple, super easy. And there are some small pieces in here, so time will tell on whether or not that's going to work out well. But this is super easy to adjust. It's all micro, and it is quite a bit less expensive than, like, say, your Epsilon or your QAD. But here's the thing I really want to know, and that's why we've already got a Quiver on here. Every other rest other than a Epsilon or a IMX, whether it's version 1 or 2, they're the same, you can't clear arrows on these Quivers. And that is where it's going to touch. And arrow number 1 touches. Okay? Now, they do make a Quiver spacer for these, and the detachable one sits a little farther away, so it might clear there, but let's check arrow number 1 and see if it touches. And it doesn't, but I guarantee when you shoot that, it's going to vibrate. So, in your Mathews, let's try arrow 3. That clears. Okay, so the first 2 are going to be in the vicinity of touching. So you may have to use a Quiver spacer to move it over just a little bit. And I'm just going to look at where that sits. Yeah, that's about where you would want to start for tuning it. So basically what it boils down to is on this Quiver, either you put a spacer underneath it, which you can put just one side underneath it. You don't have to put them both on. And then it'll move it away a little bit. All it has to do is not vibrate when you fire it. You can hear that? You're going to hear that when you're shooting your bow. So, but if you're pulling arrow 1 out, you only have to clear the 1. So I'm willing to bet if you put that Quiver spacer in here and pull the second arrow out first, right here, the one that this one's actually physically sitting on it, if you pulled that one out first and had a spacer to where this was a little farther away, that wouldn't make any noise and you could operate with this Quiver. And in all honesty, every other one of these things I've tried to bolt on here, I haven't done the limb driver yet. I have one to try it. I just haven't done it yet. Every other one does not clear here on a Mathews. The other brand's not that specific, like your Hoyts, your PSEs, etc. They put their quivers on in a fashion that it wouldn't get in the way of the arrow rest, but because Mathews was using an IMX2 in their designs and these quivers were going to be as tight to the bow as possible because the sights were going through the riser, they brought it in as snug as humanly possible. Like, you can't get it closer than these quivers put them. So if it'll clear this, it'll clear just about any quiver, and I would say that's totally workable and totally doable, because with an Epsilon, you have to take one arrow out. And myself, I just take that arrow out first when I shoot, so I don't have to have anything sitting against it or worried about it sitting against something. So I'd give this a thumbs up in that regard. This rest really intrigues me, and I will actually really try this rest. Comment down below on what you think about this product or other ones. But honestly, I'm really intrigued. Like, this is a very nice rest, and I want to say it's going to be in the $230 to $250 range. So it's going to be cheaper. It's all micro driven. It actually mounts on the rail. You don't have to have some workaround. They're paying for licensing of that. So yeah, let me know what you think. I'm pretty excited, but time will tell on whether or not it's durable and holds up. Thanks for watching.